We're live. Hi, everybody. I am welcoming you to our very unusual evening Facebook Live. And of course, Meredith's here with me. And we are joined by Jessica with Holistic Hound, which is a CBD company, hemp oil, which you might be familiar with. But I know that you guys want to learn more about this particular line of products. They have some really interesting products that I'd love for you to know more about. I love hearing Holistic Hound. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to start jumping on. I see people starting to jump on. Britt's there. I see you, Brittany. There's Christine. People are starting to. It's starting to go up. People are starting to jump on. We'll give everybody a few more minutes. Make sure. Hi, Meg. Meg says, hi, Jessica. We'll give everybody a few more minutes because the number's really starting to jump up. We'll make sure everybody has a chance to get started with this from the beginning. We said we'd start right at 7. Okay. Hi, Christine. Definitely say hello to us. If you are here, let us know you're here. And one of the things that I'll start out by saying is tonight we will be doing a giveaway for some products from Holistic Hound. It's hemp and mushroom soft shoes. That particular bag.
No, this is my cat's bag.
We'll have a bag here that we'll be giving away for free. And so be sure to ask us your questions, because those of you who ask questions will be entered into a raffle to win a free bag of Holistic Hound treats. So Jessica, we'll go ahead and get started as people continue to join us. But tell us a little bit about you and about how you became involved with Holistic Hound, and then about Holistic Hound itself.
Absolutely. So thank you for having me. Hopefully we'll get everybody's questions answered regarding CBD. We're going to throw a couple other kind of fun things at you that you've never heard about, or maybe you've heard a little bit. So my name's Jessica Tiersma. I am the sales and support manager for Holistic Hound. And I've been with the company for 2 years. So back when we first started the company back in 2015 with our CBD and mushroom line, we were the first to introduce the combination of full spectrum CBD and medicinal mushrooms into a bite or a treat form. So we've been doing this for a while. And I was introduced to Holistic Hound back in 2017 when my dog Otis, who was a Shar-Pei, was diagnosed with hemangiosarcoma. And our vet said, get Otis on turkey tail mushrooms. And I thought she was crazy.
I know everybody hears mushrooms for your dog and thinks, but they're dangerous. You're not supposed to give mushrooms to your dogs.
Exactly. And growing up at where I'm in Oregon, we're surrounded by a lot of toxic mushrooms that are grown outside, out in nature. So I thought the same thing. I'm like, I'm not going to give that to my dog. You're crazy. So after doing a lot of research, and she provided me with a study from 2002, we started getting him on the medicinal mushrooms, and we saw such a huge difference with the hemangiosarcoma, but mostly with his allergies. And we'll talk a little bit about the allergy aspect of this too, because it is allergy season. So that was how I was introduced to Holistic Hound. And we started doing mushrooms and CBD for him, and we saw such a huge difference combining those two. I left the family business and came to work for Heidi at Holistic Hound. So that's a little bit of my background. Before that, I worked in pet stores. So I still deal with a lot of our consumer related questions. So if somebody comes to us and they say, I've got an itchy dog, I usually send an entire list of everything to try, not just Holistic Hound, but everything. So it's something that makes us as a company a little unique, is that we do have that background. Holistic Hound was actually started in 2003. We were a pet store out of Berkeley, California. And our founder, Heidi Hill, she's a certified homeopath, started that with a heavy focus on feeding raw and the benefits of supplements. And she started to carry CBD in her store in 2014. And in 2015, she formulated her own unique products. She noticed every time she was talking to customers about CBD, she would tell them the benefits of medicinal mushrooms and how they work synergistically. So that's kind of where the idea came from. So 2015, we went live. We were probably one of 3 pet CBD companies at that time. So there's a lot of CBD on the market for both humans and pets. And it gets really confusing for a lot of people because you see one and you go, why is this better than something else? Or, what does this mean on the wording on the packaging? So we try to make it as simple and easy to understand as possible. And we fully believe in full transparency. When it comes to these products and the health of our pets, we want to make sure that everybody is comfortable using these products and that they trust us. They know where it's coming from. We're doing third-party testing to make sure that that's actually CBD in that bottle. A lot of companies will state CBD and it won't have what's listed, or it might not have any at all because it's not federally regulated. So,
and, it is interesting to me because I will hear people say I ordered CBD off of Amazon, or I picked up CBD when I was in, CVS or Walgreens, and it's not all created equally. Some of it is imported and rehydrated here in the United States. And so then they can claim that it's made in the United States because it's rehydrated here. So it's definitely, I try to harp upon the focus of education and how important it is that you have a transparent company. A lot about third-party testing and those kind of things. Very important.
Exactly.
So a little bit about where Holistic Hound is made.
Yeah, so Holistic Hound, all of our hemp is coming from Colorado, which is probably the #1 supplier in the US. That's where most US companies are getting their hemp. We do have one hemp product that has hemp grown from, Oregon, which is the state I'm in. So I'm really excited. We're starting to see more hemp produced in other states besides just Colorado. So you're going to start to see, of course, Colorado, Oregon, Arizona, Kentucky, a lot of other states producing hemp nationally. So it's always important to make sure that it is grown and made and produced and extracted, everything in the US. There is still a lot of hemp coming from China. So it is very important to make sure where your hemp is coming from. A lot of our ingredients, all of our ingredients, I should say, except for 2, are sourced in the US. The only 2 that are outsourced is our New Zealand grass-fed lamb liver from New Zealand and ashwagandha, which is from India. So we'll talk about ashwagandha a little bit later. It is USDA certified organic though. So, yeah.
Very cool. And talk a little bit about with CBD oil, the differences between broad spectrum and full spectrum.
Yeah.
A recent change, like within the last year or so, in my knowledge, that there is a difference between those 2 different spectrums. So talk a little bit about that, and then where a Holistic Hound falls.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's still a lot of confusion in the CBD space about what full spectrum means. Full spectrum to us and to most companies essentially means that product has CBD and it has over 150 other known cannabinoids that are found in the cannabis plant. Cannabis meaning hemp or marijuana. So broad spectrum means it has all of those without the THC. So hemp naturally is going to have less than 0.3% THC. Anything over that is considered marijuana, which is not what our products are and not legal in every state. So full spectrum means it has CBD, other cannabinoids like THC, less than 0.3%. Terpenes. Terpenes are really fascinating. I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but they help enhance the effects of cannabinoids. So you really want to look for full spectrum or broad spectrum. So we do have both. If you don't want THC, you want to look for the broad spectrum products. If you do want trace amounts of THC, you want to look for the full spectrum products. Other things on the market too, if you see something that just says CBD oil, it can denote an isolate product or one that's just CBD. So you're missing out on the terpenes, which again enhance those effects of cannabinoids, and all of those other 150 known cannabinoids that are found in those products. So you really want to look for full spectrum or broad spectrum CBD oil.
And another term that I've more frequently seen as well is PCR.
Yes.
PCR oil. So talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so that actually used to be on some of our packaging, like this one that I still have. So PCR stands for phytocannabinoid rich. That essentially means full spectrum. So phytocannabinoid, phyto meaning plant, cannabinoids, your cannabinoids. What happened was back before the hemp bill, the 2018 hemp bill was passed December of 2018, a lot of companies were removing CBD from the packaging. And the reason why was Department of Ag and FDA and a lot of other organizations were targeting retailers that had products that said CBD on packaging. So now after that 2018 hemp bill, which went into effect January 1st, 2019, we're now able to put CBD back on the packaging. Some states still aren't sure about CBD, and I hear it all the time on news, media and everything that CBD is from marijuana. It's also from hemp. So it's just one of those, we're still learning a lot of times, what CBD actually is. So if you see PCR, that essentially means full spectrum or broad spectrum. It just depends on, which one it is. Broad spectrum is a term that was kind of introduced less than a year ago. So for us, we used to say full spectrum, 0.00% THC, so THC free. Now that the term broad spectrum is more available in this industry and more widely accepted, we now have full and broad spectrum options.
And it takes a little bit of time for packaging and things like that, as you referenced, to catch up. As I've been, I'll pick up a product and be like, but wait a minute, I thought this was broad spectrum, but then it's just the packaging hasn't had time to catch up.
Exactly. And a lot of times it has to go from us, the manufacturer, through distribution into the retail store. So you might see some overlap when it comes to products. Like our previous full spectrum hemp oils, would say full spectrum hemp oils, those would be considered a broad spectrum at this time. Our new full spectrum is less than 0.3% THC. So if you're not sure if the product you have is THC free or not, it's always good to pick up the phone and call the company, and they'll be able to tell you based off of a lot number or what that bottle looks like. Like I can tell you with the brown one that went from PCR to full spectrum to broad spectrum, because it is still the Wild West when it comes to CBD, and we're still just kind of playing along with everybody and the regulations and just making sure that we're, making every wording on that packaging is compliant with the NASC, National Animal Supplement Council, the FDA, Department of Ag. We work very hard to make sure that we're up to date from state to state in different departments.
There are a lot of certifications coming out and a lot of different regulations. And while it is the Wild Wild West still a little bit, it's so much more certifications have come about. And even the last 6 months, it seems, that has changed the marketplace for CBD so much. Talk a little bit more about your product line and maybe the different specific reasons that someone might use Holistic Hound, and what the different products are that you have and what their uses are.
Yeah. So I like to start off a little bit with CBD. So everybody kind of knows or has heard of CBD, but like I said, there's still a little confusion. Like, why would I do CBD? So CBD is one of over 150 known cannabinoids that are found in the cannabis plant. Again, both hemp or marijuana. And it has a lot of great benefits. So CBD can help with promoting calmness and relaxation, whether that's from anxiety situations like fireworks, thunderstorms, separation, travel. There's a lot of different anxiety situations you can use CBD for. It can also help with immune support. So if you have an immune suppressed pet, we'll talk about mushrooms too. CBD is great for helping support that immune system. Also helping with inflammation. So if you're experiencing pain is coming from inflammation within our bodies. It's a great way to help support a healthy inflammatory response. And of course, there's a lot of other things that we can't say that CBD can help because it is very much watched in this space. So there's more studies and research coming out. There's a great one from Colorado State University with dogs that's really promising for CBD. And that's kind of with vets. A lot of veterinarians are still learning about it. They're not 100% comfortable recommending it, but a lot are saying try it. They might not give you dosing or specific product recommendation, but they are open for a lot of their patients to actually try it with their pets. So if your pet has a known medical condition, I always tell people, talk with your veterinarian. Anytime you introduce any new supplement into their daily routine and they have a medical condition, make sure your veterinarian knows about it. So always lean towards that side of caution. There's no known interactions with CBD or any negative side effects, but again, just lean on the side of caution. So CBD is just one cannabinoid. It's great for dogs, cats, horses, people, and there's, like I said, a lot of great benefits with it. Now that we know about CBD, we're starting to learn about other cannabinoids like CBG. So CBG is a relatively newly discovered cannabinoid, I think from 2016. And we're starting to see it come into the space, including us. So we came out with the very first full spectrum CBG oil for pets. CBG is another cannabinoid, just like CBD. It's actually the precursor or stem cell to CBD and THC. So it comes from young hemp plants, which are grown here in Oregon. And it takes a lot of those little hemp plants to get CBG. So before that plant gets big and tall and has more CBD and THC in there, it's just CBG because it hasn't turned into those other cannabinoids. So it's a different cannabinoid. The chemical structure is completely different. The reported benefits are somewhat similar to CBD, but different. So CBD, we think of that calming, relaxing effect where you might take CBD at night to help you sleep. CBG can actually be a little bit more uplifting. So I like to recommend CBG for senior arthritic dogs. So when you have a dog that's just laying around all day and you want to help get them going, plus help with inflammation like it does, then CBG is a great alternative instead of having a dog laying around all day. So help kind of give them a little boost. And so CBG is great for senior pets. So it helps support the immune system. The way it's different than CBD with the immune system is it actually binds to our CB2 receptor. It kind of goes back to the endocannabinoid system, which every living creature has. Our CB2 receptor is located directly to our immune system. So CBG being able to bind to that CB2 receptor, you're going to notice a greater difference with immune support. So again, if you have a dog or a cat that has a weakened immune system, CBG might be a better alternative than CBD. Another thing it's great for, inflammation and anxiety. So for 4th of July, for fireworks or loud noises or thunderstorms, we had a lot of great testimonials last year with the CBG for pets. So one of our customers gave it to her dog, and usually it takes about 30 minutes for CBD to take effect, and then he kind of goes and takes a little nap. CBG, she administered it, and within a minute and a half, I'm not going to say that's normal, but within a minute and a half, the dog was on his bed, still alert, but he wasn't shaking or getting really scared with those booms during a thunderstorm or with fireworks. So it's really great for anxiety.
Very, very cool. I've read to you that it is also good for bladder.
Yeah, so CBG is great for inflammation, but particularly for brain, bowel, and bladder. So I actually recommend CBG oil for cats, especially because cats are really prone for urinary issues. I have one myself. So definitely if we can help reduce that inflammation in the bladder, in the bowel, or the brain, then you're going to notice a bigger difference. Another thing with senior dogs too, I forgot to say, is that inflammation in the brain. If you've got a dog with doggy dementia, which we have a lot of pets, senior pets, barking at walls or noises that we can't hear, then CBG can definitely help with some of that cognitive, neurological issue going on. So more for senior pets again, but also for kitties. So.
And the CBG oil is organic, is that correct?
It's grown organically. It's not USDA certified. It's a very small farm that we're getting it from. So they're working towards that USDA certification, but we do visit that farm. We visit all of our farms to make sure that they're doing good, clean practices and using organic practices as well.
And it does tend to be a little bit more expensive than typical CBD because it is the young plant. Is that correct?
Correct. So with CBD and THC even, by the time that plant is fully matured, it's going to be like 6 feet tall. If you've ever seen it, I'm surrounded by like 20 hemp farms where I live. So you go out there and those plants get really tall during the summer. So a big tall CBD, big tall hemp plant can get a lot of CBD. A little tiny CBG plant, you only get so much. So that's where you're going to see the price difference. For example, a 250 milligram oil retails for about $39.99. The CBG is 300 milligrams, so slightly more, is $67.99 retail. So it like I said, you got a lot of little tiny hemp plants to get a little CBG.
I have to post this. This is the funniest thing. So Kim Goodman, who's one of our customers, you can't see this. I'm not. He's ordering a case of CBG.
Yep. All of our products are human grade. So people can definitely take it. We are a pet supplement company, so we don't have dosing for people and we don't advertise for people because our primary focus is on our pets. So for me, I like to take CBG, particularly in the morning to help me get going. But definitely any kind of pain or discomfort, I notice a bigger difference with CBG than I do with CBD. I still take CBD in the evening to help me get to sleep at night, but CBG is just, it's totally different. And so it's really kind of fascinating to kind of see, the difference just by taking it myself. So
I take CBD myself twice a day. And so I've talked about that a lot on our Facebook Lives, but I take it for high blood pressure and it has done quite an enormous amount for me. Brittany has asked, is dosing for the CBG similar to dosing for the CBD?
It is. So the great thing with CBD.
She's wanting to know, maybe we've got Jessica frozen.
Am I here?
Are you there?
Oh, I'm here. Okay.
I don't know. We froze for a minute.
Oh, no. So the great thing with CBD is a lot of times you can see a difference within 15 to 30 minutes. It's very fast acting. So I forgot to mention, if you're doing like a glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, keep doing those because it's going to be beneficial, but it can take several weeks to notice the difference. Where CBD, you can usually see a difference within 30 minutes. So if you have a really sensitive pet or a pet with more inflammation or pain or arthritis, anything like that, you want to get something in their system right away just to help. So CBD and CBG both for 15 to 30 minutes, and it's going to last 4 to 8 hours. So you might need to dose more than once a day, depending on your pet and what they're experiencing. I've got a kitty with loud noise anxiety, so I give him a dose in the morning to help throughout the day and a dose in the evening to help him get through the night. So dosing for CBG is going to be really similar to CBD. Typically, most companies, most holistic veterinarians too, recommend 1 to 1.5 milligrams of CBD or CBG per 10 pounds of body weight. So if you have a 50-pound dog, typically we see about 5 milligrams of CBD or CBG recommended. So that's kind of a good base to go off of, is the 1 to 1.5 per 10 pounds.
And I have heard, and I've heard this from a couple of other CBD companies, but that the dosages on the back, while a good guideline, are a suggested guideline, and that it doesn't results from the first dose, that you can add more doses.
Absolutely. So with every pet, just like with every person, it's going to be different. If you have a dog or cat with severe anxiety, they might need a little bit more than what's recommended on the packaging. So CBD and CBG is just something you have to be comfortable with playing with that dose to see how much your pet is needing at that specific day and time. And you can't overdose with CBD. You can definitely waste a lot of product, which in turn means you're going to waste a lot of money, but you can definitely underdose. So play with that dose and see what's working for your pet. Another thing, every time I talk to somebody and they say, I tried it and it's not working, I always ask, how are you administering it? So your tinctures, you want to give this away from food on an empty stomach. where most people are applying it to food. There are some technology and some different products out there you can apply to food, like our water-soluble hemp and mushroom oil. Mm-hmm. That features a different kind of technology. It's more bioavailable, it's faster absorbing, but because it's more bioavailable, you can put it directly on food if you need to. So if you're looking for a product recommendation, the best thing I can say is, how do you want to administer it? So if you want something you can put on food, look for water soluble. If you're okay giving it orally, then definitely look for something that's traditional.
And I mean, the flavor of it, can it be a little bitter, or, it can have a distinct flavor? I know it has a distinct smell.
It does. And so what we are doing now is different extraction methods. So typically what we see in the CBD space is either a ethanol extraction, which we do have one with the CBG. It's from organic sugar cane, and supercritical CO2. So supercritical CO2 extraction extracts it in about 2 hours. And because it takes a little bit longer, you're going to have more of that bitter taste. If you've ever tried hemp oil and you've been like, ooh, then it's from that CO2 extraction. So it's a little bit more bitter, a little less pleasant. You also lose out on some of those terpenes, which enhance the effects of cannabinoids. So the longer the extraction, the less terpenes you're going to have. Also, you still have to finish it or winterize it with an ethanol. So CO2, ethanol, those are two extraction methods. We just came out with our USDA certified organic full spectrum hemp oils, and these have a different extraction method called vapor distillation. So what's cool about vapor distillation is it extracts in 2 seconds compared to 2 hours. So faster extraction, and you're going to get a sweeter taste. To me, it almost tastes kind of nutty. So it's a lot more pleasant than doing a supercritical CO2. Because it extracts so quickly too, you get more of those terpenes. So more terpenes equals stronger effects. So that's kind of where we're headed with when it comes to CBD technology and how to extract, is how to get more of those terpenes, how to get it to taste a little bit better and be more bioavailable. And so now we've got the vapor distillation.
We have a question again from Kimberly. Kimberly Goodman says, do you suggest CBD or CBG for a senior, 15 years old, blind and deaf dog? Which would you suggest to be better for her senior dog?
I'd say one, again, it depends on how you want to administer. So if your pup is okay with taking it orally, then you could definitely do CBD or CBG or both. And then it kind of goes into what other things is he experiencing. So with CBG, it can help with dogs with glaucoma, which is really a fun little study that's being done right now. So they're showing that it can help reduce the interocular eye pressure in dogs with glaucoma. But if he's already blind and deaf, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to kind of help with that situation. But the fact that he's 15 years old, he's probably starting to slow down a little bit, might be in some pain or discomfort, or he might have some anxiety, because especially if he's lost his hearing or his sight recently, that can be really terrifying for us, let alone our pets, because you rely so much on your senses. So in that case, CBD and CBG, I think I'd say both are going to help with that anxiety and with that transition.
Let's see. She says she's not okay with oral. She barks out of the blue. So sounds like more relationship there.
Yeah. I would say
CBG, as you were saying, for the brain inflammation and those kind of things might be helpful.
Absolutely. I think CBG would be a great option. And also it'll come down to how much your dog weighs too. All of our dosing is by body weight. So if you have like a 115-pound dog, then this little bottle is not going to last very long. So we can definitely look at weight and then determine from there to maybe a different path to go in order to get that product to last a little bit longer. But for a lot of people with senior pets right now are doing CBG in the morning and CBD in the evening. So for my kitty, CBG and then a soft chew in the evening. That way he's getting some of the mushrooms, he's getting 2 different cannabinoids, and he's a happy cat. So.
And I know in her case it's a dachshund. So okay. It is definitely a smaller dog.
Yeah, so dosing with the CBG is going to start at 25 pounds. We do have on our website, if you prefer to do it by drop, mostly for small dogs and cats, there's dosing on there too.
Okay, so Marty's question, Marty Heim, is asking if there's any help for ears. And this might be a good time to touch on mushrooms.
You read my mind. Yes. So it all kind of depends on what's going on with the ears. If we're talking about yeast, if we're talking about just more buildup or inflammation, then it's going to kind of depend on which direction we go when it comes to product. For Otis, my pup, we saw a huge difference. He was a Shar-Pei, so he had the little Dorito ears, as we like to call them. And he had those really deep ear canals. So he was constantly getting a lot of buildup in his ears. He was constantly scratching his ears. Once we got him over onto the mushroom powder, it helped with his allergies and it helped with that inflammation and the immune system. So I think a lot of times with our pets, when we see them itching and scratching a lot, it can be really confusing as, we can't just ask them, why are you itching? So I wish we could. It just kind of depends on what they're exposed to or what's going on internally. So we always recommend a good low inflammatory diet just to help with overall health, and also look at different things that are in those foods. If they have a lot of potatoes in there, sometimes that can help yeast kind of grow. So, talk with Alice, with you guys, and just kind of see what is going on with diet, see if we can get that cleaned up with diet. Also different things for treating the ear, like a Zymox, if you guys have it, has the hydrocortisone in there, can help alleviate some of it, but it's not going to solve whatever's going on. So we always say work internally while you're treating externally.
Well, and while we're talking about mushrooms, I think it's important to touch upon the point that not all mushrooms are safe for animals, but there are animal-safe mushrooms. So
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the mushrooms and what's included in the mushrooms.
Absolutely. So like you said, not every mushroom is going to be safe. We are a pet supplement company, so we want to keep our customers. So everything we use is safe for pets. The mushrooms that we're using in our Mighty Mojo mushroom powder, we've got a blend of 5 signature USDA certified organic mushrooms. So they're grown organically. They're from Washington State. A lot of mushrooms are still coming from China too. So make sure you're getting US grown mushrooms. We've got shiitake, mesema, turkey tail, and reishi. So it's a good blend of 5, and it's the highest amount per mushroom that I can find in the pet industry, which is the reason why I went with this one. I couldn't find one that had enough turkey tail to really help with Otis. These per teaspoon, we've got 400 milligrams of each 5 mushrooms, which is 3 to 4 times what I was finding in the pet industry. So really high dosing on there. It is human grade. I put this in my latte every morning, or iced tea, depending on what I'm feeling like. But with mushrooms, there's more science and research and studies that have been done with medicinal mushrooms than CBD. So more veterinarians and more doctors are actually prescribing medicinal mushrooms for their patients right now, which is really fascinating. So like I said, my veterinarian was like, get them on turkey tail. I had a friend that was dealing with lymphoma, and I kept telling her, mushrooms. And she finally went to her doctor and was like, my friend keeps pushing me about mushrooms. And he was like, well, you're not taking mushrooms. So she got on it, and she has been in remission for 3 years now. So, we can't make medical claims, obviously, but I always, if we can help naturally without all of those harsh side effects, then I'm always game for trying the holistic approach. So mushrooms are great for supporting and modulating the immune system. So just like CBD and CBG is great for immune support, mushrooms actually will help modulate. So I always kind of picture it opening the door for CBD and CBG to really go into that immune system and be beneficial. Same with inflammation. A lot of customers really like our bites and our soft chews because we're combining both CBD and mushrooms. Both of those are going to help support a healthy inflammatory response. So again, if we can get the mushrooms to help with that inflammation, CBD and CBG are going to be more beneficial. Mushrooms are also a powerful superfood. So even if you have a super healthy dog and they're on a great diet and you just want to add something, a food topper, mushroom powder. It's full of antioxidants, and it's just a great, I always say, make a mushroom gravy for them and let them get all of that great benefits and antioxidants. Also, it's great for blood sugar and blood pressure, liver and kidney function, and it helps support histamine levels to help with seasonal allergies. So if you have a dog or a cat that is suffering from seasonal allergies, I, again, always say work internally and then externally. So let's get that immune system, the histamine levels, inflammation under control, and then start working externally. So mushrooms are great for allergies. I suffer from really bad allergies. And I'm surrounded by juniper and sage right now, and we've got, our cars are completely yellow when we go outside. So I have not had red, watery, itchy eyes for 2 years, and I highly, strongly believe it's the mushroom powder, because that's the only thing different that I've been doing. So mushrooms for allergies.
The products that you carry or that you guys manufacture for Holistic Hound that have mushrooms in them, you have a CBD oil with mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the mushroom powder, as you were just holding up, but then you also have treats as well.
Correct. So the mushroom powder is that blend of 5. So the reishi, shiitake, misima, poria, and turkey tail. This powder is also in each one of our soft chews and our hemp and mushroom bites. So you get a good concentration in there, good for therapeutic, but more chronic conditions, I say get them on the mushroom powder. You can absolutely do the bites or soft chews and the mushroom powder. So get as much of that mushroom as you can. Our oil that we offer with mushroom is the brown bottle, and that's the broad spectrum water soluble hemp and mushroom oil. So this one's 250 milligrams of CBD. It is THC free, and it has a 6th mushroom not featured in any of these others. So that mushroom is chaga. And I'm sure if you've heard about mushrooms, you've heard of chaga. So chaga is kind of hitting the health craze right now. And a lot of people are looking for chaga specific products. So chaga has a wide variety of benefits, and a lot of doctors are prescribing chaga right now for different ailments. But this little bottle has 250 milligrams of CBD. It has 13,500 milligrams of chaga mushroom extract. So you're getting a really good, strong amount of chaga. And if we're ever talking about any kind of chronic condition, whether it's tumors like with Otis, I always say hemp and mushroom oil and the mushroom powder, and get all 6 of those mushrooms in there, get the CBD, but the mushrooms, because there's, again, more of this science and research and studies that have been done with specific mushrooms.
Okay, we have a few more questions. Let's see. Okay. This is going back a little bit to the CBD oil, asking if it works well with dogs who get scared during thunderstorms. And you were saying that the CBG oil, that you had a testimonial about that it worked really quickly.
Yeah, really quickly with the CBG. So CBD and CBG is great for any kind of loud noise anxiety, whether it's fireworks, thunderstorms, unexpected booms. My kitty that has daily severe loud noise anxiety, if the garbage truck drives by, he's usually hiding under the bed for a couple hours. With CBD, before I started doing CBG for him last 4th of July, he was in the windowsill watching the fireworks in the street. So before, he was hiding under the bed. So I highly recommend, definitely do the CBD. I would say my number one recommendation, if you're just dealing with occasional loud noise anxiety, would be the water soluble products. So the hemp and mushroom soft chews, these guys have water soluble CBD, so it's going to work faster. It's going to have greater bioavailability and faster absorption. It's got the mushrooms in there, which mushrooms naturally can help calm and relax. And it's got a 3rd supplement that's not found in any of our other products called ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is native to India, so it is USDA certified organic. It is NASC, National Animal Supplement Council approved. Ashwagandha can actually help lower cortisol, which is the stress hormone, to help with anxiety, which is why my kitty gets this every single day. So for emergency situations, hemp and mushroom soft chews. And a lot of our customers say they keep these by their bed at night. So if a thunderstorm or tornado warning hits, they have them right there and they can give them to their pet. I actually fly with these a lot. And my last trip to Global Pet Expo in February, I had a bag The person sitting next to me had a little dog in a carrier, and that little bag was just shaking. I felt so bad. So I reached into my backpack and I'm like, can he have one of these? And before we even took off, that dog was just out. He was calm. He didn't wake up during the flight or panic or anything. He was, and she actually ordered right then and there off of her phone for a bag for the return flight.
That's so funny. Well, let's see. I've got a couple of others. I know Christy has mentioned that she's really excited about using CBD for her foster dog, Clyde. He has an autoimmune inflammation issue, and actually when she got him was missing a lot of fur on his face, and that has so he's a cute little corgi, and I'm sure, Christy, that CBG would do wonderful for Clyde.
CBG, but also look at the mushrooms too.
That's what I was going to say. The mushrooms would be great. Brittany has a question about if the mushrooms would be good for grass allergies.
Yeah, so when we're talking about seasonal allergies, seasonal meaning it can be environmental, or it could be from, the pollen, the grass, anything in the air, anything like that. With Otis, it was grass, moss, and pollen. So he'd go outside, roll around in the grass, come in just bright red and just hot to the touch and kind of freaking out. It was almost like there was bugs in his brains, and he just couldn't sit still. So once we got him on the mushrooms, he would come in and he'd still be kind of nervous, but that reaction would only last about a week instead of 3 months that he was red and itchy. So we saw him be able to get over that reaction a lot quicker once he was on it. Plus, with a healthy diet change too, we went completely over to raw and eliminated all grains and potatoes, because the potatoes were causing yeast with him too. So that helped. When he had a flare up, we were giving him CBD to help keep him calm during that reaction. And he'd go over to his bed, lay down, and do that kind of heavy, annoyed sigh. And he's like, okay. And we saw a huge improvement combining those two. So when it comes to allergies, definitely mushrooms to help internally, CBD to help to still help internally. We do have a healing balm, which is great for external application for dogs. So it's great to help calm that area. It's 150 milligrams of CBD. So if there's a specific area that seems to really be bothering him, you can apply that topically. And also look for some pet safe wet wipes. I like the Earth Bath brand. I used to keep those by the front door and just wipe him down every time he'd come inside.
Very cool. I'll say Kim has posted this about she's having some issues with one of her dachshunds with skin issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think trying the mushrooms would be a way to go. Kim, I've got some other fixes for you externally, so come see me.
Yes,
can help
definitely. Yeah,
the internal and the external.
Absolutely. I mean, the mushroom powder is great, but you're still going to want something to help get inside that ear to kind of help soothe that as well.
Yeah, I had one who suffered from chronic ear drainage issues for a good 6 months, and I finally found a product here that really worked well for her. So I'll get Kim hooked up with that. Marty, she was asking if we have this product in stock, and the answer is yes. Yeah. And actually, we did a full GAP ISO to get all of the Holistic Hound products in, so everything will be in stock tomorrow. And the wonderful thing about this product is that you can order it on our website. So you can check out our assortment of Holistic Hound items on our website, and you can order them for curbside pickup or free local same-day delivery, just as all the other products on our website. So that's what's unique about Holistic Hound. So you can find them on our website available. Christy Moran says mushrooms for autoimmune ? And I would say yes.
Yep, that and CBG. I mean, mushrooms are great, like I said, for supporting and modulating that immune system. So with our mushroom powder, it's 2,000 milligrams of our 5 mushroom blend per teaspoon. We recommend 1 teaspoon per 50 pounds. It's about a 64-day supply, and I think it retails for under $30. So it's a great product to have on hand, but definitely do it every single day. We always say 1 dosing once a day. I like to add a little warm water or goat's milk or bone broth or like green juju, something to it to make it like a mushroom gravy.
Yeah. I think mushrooms is such a cool thing. And from my perspective, at least, something fairly new to the pet industry. I can remember a product probably about 10 years ago that had mushrooms in it, but it freaked us all out. Like, you're not supposed to get mushrooms to pets. So I think that is such a misnomer that I'm glad that we can discuss here tonight and kind of help people understand that there are good mushrooms and really beneficial mushrooms that you can use with your pets. It's good to still be wary of the mushrooms you encounter when you're out on a walk or on a hike. We're not saying go let your dog lick the mushrooms off of a tree. But definitely these mushroom powders can be so helpful. Okay, so yeah, Marty is saying mushroom powder sounds like it will definitely help her dog Megabite. She has 2 dogs, Megabite and Molly, and I definitely think that is very possible. Well, are there any other things you'd like to touch on tonight?
I mean, like I said, when it comes to CBD products, just, double check and make sure that, they're doing everything right. So Holistic Hound, we've been around for a long time. Our primary focus is always going to be pets. Look for third-party testing. So if you go to holistichound.com/testing, we test all of our products. We're testing for potency. So how much CBD, CBG, THC is in each product. And we're testing for residual solvents, heavy metals, and pesticides. Not a lot of people know that hemp is a very absorbent plant, and they have been known to plant hemp plants in oil spill areas, and it soaks everything out of that dirt. So it's always important to look for organically grown or USDA certified organic.
Very cool to know. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that either. And I think you touched on this. Reiterate when Holistic Hound started, how old the company is.
Yeah, so company as a whole has been around since 2003, and that's when Heidi started the pet store in Berkeley, California. 2015 is when we started to formulate our own unique products. So at that time, it was 2014 when the hemp bill was kind of legalized and passed, allowing pilot programs to start growing and producing hemp. So a year later is when we started to see more CBD in the marketplace. So
very cool. Kim Goodman has another question. She's asking, when would you use the topical solution versus the oil?
Yeah, so topical is great for hot spots, itchiness, dryness, yeast, wounds, anything like that. It is for dogs only, and we do put that right on the front. It's our hemp healing balm for dogs. We worked with an animal herbalist to make sure that everything that is in this product is lick safe, because we know dogs, and if you put something on them, they're going to try to lick it off right away. So it is safe if they do lick it. And it's a great balm. So it's not like a cream where creams sometimes can take a long time to really soak into the skin. This balm really absorbs nicely. It's a nice kind of oil, goes in there. It doesn't leave them super greasy or anything. And we're doing for dogs, not for cats, because there are 2 essential oils in there, and cats are very sensitive to essential oils, but the ones that we're using are great for inflammation, but also hemp isn't the most pleasant to smell for a lot of people. So if we don't want, dogs walking around smelling like that. So we're using frankincense and patchouli. It's a very light fragrance to make sure to help with the inflammation, but also to help with that fragrance as well.
I tell this story. I have told this story before on another CBD Live. I was at Global Pet Expo and actually had some CBD, another company, some CBD product that is transdermal. And I put it on my skin, not realizing the scent of CBD. And it smells like marijuana because it is hemp. And so I was walking around Olive Global, and that is all I could smell. And I laughed and laughed about that story. But it was so funny because it just never occurred to me. But when you smell it, it's a very distinct smell for sure.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct odor. One other thing you touched on that is I wanted to make sure we talked about was the cat line that you guys have.
Yes. Sorry.
Talking about that. Yeah, so we need to talk about that for sure.
Yeah, so it's funny because I have 2 cats. I'm dog free right now. We're hoping to get another dog here in the near future. But for my kitties, I've been using the same products for a long time. And I'm a big believer that if you try something and it works, don't change it. So I've been very hesitant to try our other products on them because what I do works for them. So our cat products are relatively new. We came out with them beginning of this year around March. And we came out with our USDA certified organic full spectrum hemp oil. It's the same exact formula as all of our other USDA oils, but we're marketing it specifically for cats. So it's 125 milligrams of CBD and half of the size of our regular bottles. So it's equivalent to our 250 milligram oil. When you do a 251 ounce bottle, that can last a long time for cats. And by that time, it's probably going to come into some contamination. It's going to be open for a long time. So we don't usually recommend over that potency for kitties. You can also use it for small dogs too. The way that it's different is it's half the size. So it's 125 milligrams of CBD, but the dosing is specifically by drops. So for a lot of pet parents with cats or with small dogs, it's easier to hold out the tincture and do a couple of drops than an entire dropper like our 100. So minimal dosing, which is great. It's ideal for cats, but it's also good for small dogs too. So if it says for cats on there, don't worry, dogs can have it as well. Our soft chews are a full spectrum hemp soft chew for cats. It's 1.5 milligrams of CBD per chew. It is the same USDA certified organic oil in those tinctures as it is in the chew. Those feature CBD and then 3 other supplements that are specific for cats to help aid in digestion. So cats are very anxious critters and they need all the digestive help that they can get. So I have a long-haired calico. She's 16 pounds. She gets a lot of hairballs. So I brush her every single day, but it's still good to help with her digestion. So we've got pineapple in there, papaya, and a probiotic. And the great thing is that pineapple can actually help with sinuses as well, inflammation in the sinus. So if you have a kitty with goopy eyes, like my girl, or a runny nose or anything like that, that is going to help with the sinus and the inflammation.
I think some people have had concerns that CBD oil might not be safe for cats. So can you talk about why CBD oil is safe for all mammals?
Yeah.
About the system, the receptors, and why it is safe.
Absolutely. So every living creature on Earth has that endocannabinoid system. So except for insects. But, you know, us, dogs, cats, fish, reptiles, horses, elephants, you name it, we all have these receptors in our bodies. So we naturally produce our own cannabinoids. So it's pretty fascinating. If you want to really get into the science behind it, there's a ton of articles that you can read. But I mean, cats can definitely have it. When it comes to dosing, I've seen everything from 1 milligram to 60 milligrams for a cat. So again, look at the company, where their primary focus is, make sure it's specifically on pets, because you're going to see practical dosing with pet companies, because that is our focus. We've worked with holistic veterinarians when it comes to dosing, and we know that, you know, these are safe for our kids. With other products, whether it's a marijuana-based product, which is going to be more THC than what's found in hemp, you have to be very careful. And we always say work with a holistic veterinarian if they'll even go there. But to be on the safe side, just do hemp.
This is another good question. Christina's asking, do the chews for cats help dissolve the hairballs?
I don't know necessarily if it's going to dissolve. I think with that probiotic in there, it's just going to kind of help coat it and help it pass. So like with Kitten, if she gets a hairball, then it's usually her hacking up and me chasing her around the house. So for her, it's just to help. I mean, it definitely probably could break it down, but there's still a really new product for me. So I'm not exactly sure what that specific probiotic, if in that process it breaks it down, or if it just helps coat it to help it pass. So it might be a combination of both or one or the other, but I can definitely find out. So, I mean, any kind of digestive support that we can get for cats is really important. And the soft chews, we all know cats are really picky when it comes to shape. So for my kitty, I got a hold of one. She's a kibble cat. I can't get her to touch anything, treats, wet food, raw, anything. She has to have her kibbles. I put one down and she batted it around the kitchen. That's not the goal we're aiming for right now. So what I did for her is I took it and I broke it up into smaller pieces, and she ate every last crumb, and she doesn't do treats or any supplements or anything like that. So I was really surprised. Forgot to mention, protein source in those is chicken liver with salmon oil. So they're really good, really palatable. That's something you'll see across our entire product line with our bites and our soft chews, is we're including a protein source because we want the pets to actually eat these. And so we know dogs and cats are carnivores. They like meat. So we include a protein source for palatability.
You know, it's always interested me that cats get addicted to the shape of kibble. And their tongues become almost like it's a memory thing for them. And I've had customers who've come in and said, oh, my cat had to have some teeth pulled and he's no longer eating his dry food. It's because that shape feels different in their mouth now because they're missing teeth. And so they'll have to find something else to go with. But of course, you know, we do obviously recommend a heavy wet food diet for cats for all reasons. Because cats are so much in need of that. Let's see. If anybody has any more questions, be sure to ask them quickly. We're probably rounding up on an hour. It's crazy. It's gone by so fast.
And be sure to ask a question too, so that you get entered to win our broad spectrum hemp and mushroom soft chew.
If you haven't asked a question yet, be sure to, because we will definitely be looking at everybody. And just so I can talk a little bit about when we will award the soft chews, I am going to write down everybody's name tonight that asked a question, and we will put that in a little drawing that we're going to do tomorrow during our Facebook Live tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We're going to have an All Pets Considered trivia game at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So get your trivia shoes on. For those of you who have been longtime customers, hopefully you'll join us because we have some fun trivia questions. We had a lot of fun today coming up with these questions. But we'll draw the winner of our Soft Chew Award tomorrow morning in that Facebook Live right before we get our trivia game underway.
Allison, did you want to ask or tell them about the box for next month?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's definitely talk about that. So as many of you guys know, we have started a subscription box. And so this month, our subscription box is Build a Better Bowl. And we just launched it this week. So it is available on our website. You can purchase it either one time, or you can purchase it as a subscription and get every single month. Each month is going to be a different theme. So it's really, really exciting. Marty just picked hers up today, I know, for this month. And it is chock full of a lot of really good stuff. And what we can guarantee you is the price is going to always be $29.99 for that box. And a portion of each purchase of each box will be donated to our charity partner for the month. So another cool aspect of those boxes, our dog box is called the Bonafactor box, and the cat box is called the Generosity box. And next month we have a really special theme. And so what I would not normally do is release the theme of next month's box, but we're going to go ahead and do that tonight since we're meeting with you. Next month's box is called the Zen box, and it is going to specialize in CBD and calming agents for your pets, because we all know 4th of July is stocked full of fireworks and thunderstorms and all things fun and erotic for animals. And so we are going to do a Zen box for your pets. And these boxes always have really high value, always above $29.99. This month, our value is over $60. But next month's box is going to be really big, like super big. We're super excited about it. And we will have some Holistic Hound products in there. So go ahead and talk about what Holistic Hound will be.
Yeah, so we're going to be including in July's box a 250 milligram, 1 ounce hemp and coconut oil. It's our broad spectrum, so THC free. So it's great for daily use, for occasional use, depending on what's going on. But definitely, you know, I always say use these products daily if you can. And that bottle alone is a $45 value. So that box is going to be great.
Huge value box. It might be small in stature because CBD products, of course, are small bottles and small bags, but it's going to be incredible. And so I would not usually release the theme of a box this early, but definitely since we're meeting with you, it is an exciting thing to share with everybody. And our boxes in general are a whole lot of fun and a great exposure to the products that we carry and products that you may not know are even out there that can help your pet. And for $29.99, you get an introduction to all these different products that might be able to really give your pet a better life, or you a calmer life with your pet.
As in life. There you go.
That's right. I know. I use CBD every day for myself, and I have made two bones about the fact that I have a seizure dog, and she gets CBD for her seizures, and we give her CBD twice a day, but then we also give them to her for breakthrough seizures, and they've been wonderful. And just recently, I had a rescue who is heartworm positive, and we gave him his first heart guard, and he had seizures, and the CBD is what stopped the seizures. So it's amazing stuff. When you see the difference it makes for you or for your pet, it is amazing.
It's one of those that once you start, you're like, why did I wait so long? So, and I will say too, don't wait until July 1st to get that Zen box. Make sure you get your CBD in advance, because I know where I'm at, the fireworks usually start a week before the 4th. So make sure that you have that on hand, ready to go for those emergency situations.
And saying that's funny. This is another timely question from Lenny Cooper. How quickly do you see results for your anxiety support products for dogs?
Yep, it all depends on the pet and what they're experiencing. Typically with CBD and CBG, 15 to 30 minutes, and you should see a difference. With really high stressed areas, you might need to keep administering a little bit more. So minimal dosing or microdosing, just to see how much your pet is needing at that time. Another thing too with firework anxiety is to create a calming environment for them. So a safe space of sorts, whether that's their crate and, having it covered or some white noise going on. You always want to make sure you're trying as much as you can on top of the CBD or the CBG, just to help create a relaxing, calming environment.
How many times do you recommend increasing the dose? So if I give a dose and I'm not seeing effects, how long after that would you recommend increasing that dose?
Yes, I'd say within, after 30 minutes, if you don't see a dose, go ahead and give a half of a dose, or half of what's recommended by body weight, and wait another 30 minutes. Make sure, this is usually where we get these reports of it not working, is people will give it before or after a meal. So make sure that you're giving it away from food on an empty stomach, so more of that CBD is going to be absorbed. If you're like me and you forget, you feed your animals and then you're like, I forgot to give them their CBD, then we do have water-soluble options available with the hemp and mushroom oil or the soft chews. Those can be given on a full or empty stomach, with or without food. So they're the most versatile when it comes to administration.
Yeah, I definitely have given that 30-minute recommendation, but I just cannot sing the praises of CBD enough. We have seen so many versatile uses for it with pets here. And one of the most interesting things I've heard about is litter box anxiety with cats. We had a customer give us a testimonial. Her cat was urinating and defecating outside the litter box. And she started administering CBD oil from here for her cat, and it instantly stopped. She had tried everything under the sun, switching litter boxes, switching litter, everything that had been recommended, she had checked off the list. And it was literally her last stop, and she was blown away with how well it worked.
That's one of the things, and I've been a big proponent of trying to get, us to do CBD for cats, is because, having cats, I see the type of anxiety that they get all the time, whether, something drops and they take off running. If the doorbell goes off on my TV, I make sure the cat's not on my lap, because I'm going to get clawed up when he's trying to escape from that. So cats are very anxious and they're very temperamental. If you change anything in their environment, if you move a chair, then that can really throw them off. So it's really important to make sure that they're calm and relaxed, and you can just give them that higher quality of life.
We've got two more questions, so we'll go through them really quickly, because goodness gracious, we're already over an hour. Madeline is asking if you're going to be coming out with any products that contain CBN.
CBN, I haven't seen a whole lot in the space. CBG, I think, is a little out there. And it's still trying to get people to understand the difference between CBD and CBG. We're always looking at, new innovative products. That's something we've been doing since 2015 is innovation. So having the first CBG oil for pets, you're definitely going to see more CBG products from us in the near future. But CBN, I think it might just be a little too soon. We got to get everybody educated on this other cannabinoid before we keep introducing more. Otherwise, people are going to be like, it's too much.
Too much information overload. Yeah. I know, and it is. It gets very confusing when you get down. Whenever I go to kind of trade shows and seminars, but everybody, I said, what topic do you want to discuss? CBD, please define it all for me, because it changes so rapidly and there's so much new information and so many different isolates and all the different oils. So CBN is a new one on me. Here is the next quick question from Christy Moran asking about if the oil can be administered on a treat.
Yeah, so I would say for adding an oil to a treat, my number one recommendation is going to be that hemp and mushroom oil. Because this features water-soluble technology, you can give it with food. So my favorite to recommend is usually a piece of a freeze-dried, like a Primal or Stella & Chewy's, Northwest Naturals. Because it's much drier, it's going to absorb that liquid and it's going to be easier to administer. Depending on your pet size, we can definitely play with the dosing or play with what potency to do, because some of those oils you might have to do an entire milliliter of oil, which is just going to be too much to add to a treat. So we can play with that to see if we can get microdosing for a certain potency down. Otherwise, we've kind of taken that guesswork out with our bites and our soft chews. So you can absolutely do the bites or soft chews. Soft chews have beef bone broth with beef liver. They're very palatable and they're really soft. So I can take that and break it into tiny little pieces with my fingernails for my cats. Our bites are a little bit on the crunchier consistency. So we've got organic pasture-raised chicken from Wisconsin or New Zealand grass-fed lamb liver. So 2 protein options with the bites. And then the soft chews, broad spectrum, hemp and mushroom, beef. Cat soft chews is chicken liver and salmon oil.
And on that somewhat same topic as Christy was asking, do you only recommend giving it orally, or is there any way to give it like touching it on the nose or anything like in the ear flap or anything like that? How do you guys recommend administering?
We don't have a transdermal application. There are companies out there that do offer transdermal, so that's an option for you. Otherwise, we do have our healing balm, which isn't really meant to be a transdermal. We've had people say they use it like a transdermal application, but we usually recommend to do it orally if you can, because it's going to be really great bioavailability by doing it that way. With my kitties, they've got too much hair on the inside of their ears, so I can't get transdermal to stick. So a lot of that factor comes into how it's actually going to be able to go onto their skin. So for me, it's easier to do the oil, the bites, or the soft chews. And same with your pet. It all kind of depends on their preference. If they're not comfortable doing an oil, then I would look at doing the bite or the soft chew. We've taken that palatability into consideration by adding that protein source, but they've also got additional supplements in there. And so if we can, help with that immune system with the mushrooms and CBD, inflammation, calming, then, definitely instead of having to do multiple supplements, it's all in one.
Perfect. Well, I think that's the end of our questions. And we've covered a lot, man. I don't think an hour has ever flown by so quickly.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being here with us and talking with us a little bit more about Holistic Hound. Just so everybody knows, we did do that Gap Out ISO just this week. So all of our products will be in hopefully tomorrow, hopefully that it was in stock at the distribution level and it's all going to be there tomorrow. And again, it is available on our website, so you can purchase that for curbside delivery or free same-day local delivery. And if you have any questions about it, of course, you can always come in and talk with our customer service reps, our sales associates, and they can help you with what's going to be best scenario for your pet's individual issue. Yes, and so we really appreciate Jessica coming out to us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been so much fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm so glad we decided to go. Sorry, I'm going to put Merida down. She wants to go take a little run around the store. But I'm so glad you joined us for a live video. We had talked about doing a Zoom, but I'm hopeful that we reach more of our customer base this way, and so people who maybe would not have gotten a chance to join us on the Zoom. So thank you again. And to all who are watching, we hope you're going to join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our All Pets Considered trivia. I am super excited about this. I am not even going to lie. It is going to be so much fun. We're going to be giving away a lot of freebies. Everybody has been through a rough week, a rough few months, and we all could use some time to laugh and be joyful. And we're going to give away a lot of free stuff tomorrow. So that's another great way to join us on Friday. A good way to kick off the weekend. So, Jessica, thank you so much. I hate that I won't get to see you this year at Super Zoo, and very soon we'll get to see you at a trade show.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good night.